It's a rather unusual day in the village of Koshabi in Bihar, India, when an 8-year-old child sits in a police station swinging his legs up in the air, smiling at all the officers, and when he's asked any questions, he demands biscuits. Now, it's not really unusual behavior in terms of when you realize how old he is, but when you ask yourself why is an 8-year-old in a police station in the first place, the answers that you'll get will boggle you just as much as they have any other person that has come across this case. That child was Amarjeet Sada, an 8-year-old serial killer who had just confessed to killing a 6-month-old baby. Amarjeet Sada was born in 1998 in a small district of Bihar known as Begusarai. His family was really big with all his aunts, uncles. He lived in a joint family, and his father, along with his uncles and aunts, was also poverty stricken. They had a really big family, but they still struggled to find jobs so that they could serve such a big family. So the entire unit, their aunts, uncles, everyone decided to migrate from Begusarai, and that is when they entered with little Sada to the village of Kushabi. Amarjeet was doing just fine. He was a normal little child. Kids that time used to always clutter around at one place, play along. Most of their days were spent outside in their bicycles, playing with tires, sticks, the entire spiel. So one of those kids was a 6-year-old girl. She belonged to the Sada family itself. She was Amarjeet's cousin sister. And one day the news came in the Koshambi village that girl suddenly stopped showing up. They stopped seeing that little girl play around with the other kids, and the village people were really confused. I mean, they thought that, I guess, the family had migrated. They found work somewhere else, but they used to see the parents every single day, not the child. So it was obvious that the girl went missing. In India, you don't really poke noses in other people's business, it's called. But townspeople, the village people, didn't really ask much to the Sada family. They didn't really bother them too much. They already thought that the family must have been dealing a little too much with the girl going missing, so they didn't want to poke their noses and disrupt their peace. So they let it go. A few months later, another little girl goes missing. This time, a newborn baby. She was Sada's own sister. Her mother was pregnant when they got into the Kushabi village, and they just had a new little baby girl. She was just outside one day, and then she just disappeared. Again, the village people were left really confused, really sad about these disappearances having to take place one after the other. This was within the span of 6 months. But again, they didn't really question it too much. They didn't want to bother the family. The fact that they had undertaken 2 missing children, babies at that, within a span of few months must be devastating for the parents and other relatives. So they didn't really want to bother the family too much. And again, this conversation stays within the family. That is until one day in 2007. So at this time, Amarjeet must have been 8 years old. A frantic woman comes into the Sada family, crying, sobbing, begging the parents for answers. She asks them that my little girl is missing. I've not seen her. I left her in a primary daycare and I've not seen her since. She's frantic. She does not know what to do. This was Chunchun Devi, the mother of a 6-year-old girl, Khushbu, who had just left her little girl in the primary daycare while she was busy doing other chores and jobs. So she just left there like usual. She thought it would be like any other day. Khushbu used to play around with other kids. There would be caretakers there. It would be all fine. Amarjeet would be one of the people that she played with that day. And the next thing you know, she's missing. The Sada family tells the mother that they might know where the child is. And when she gets to know what happened to her poor little baby, it would shatter her life and would bring out a secret to the world that would appall many. So along with Khushbu's mother, the Sada family call up the police and tell them that they have a missing persons case in their hands. They tell them that this little girl was missing and it was a matter of urgency. They looked into Amarjeet Sada, and when he was questioned, the little kid admitted to killing the girl. The police didn't really believe Amarjeet at first. They thought that it was just a prank a little kid was playing. He was just making imaginary stuff up. But Sada said that he could take them to the place where he took the body and where he killed her. That time, the police sure as hell believed this kid and took him to custody. In police custody, like I mentioned before, Sada wasn't really, that approachable. The police said that he didn't really speak much. This kid didn't talk, but he did smile a lot, almost as if he did not know the repercussions of his actions. He did not know what he had done, that he had just killed somebody. He was swinging his legs up in the air, he was demanding biscuits, he was smiling at police officers, he was thinking as if it was a day off for him. When police went to the Sada family, they revealed a much bigger secret. The two girls that had gone missing, that belonged to the Sada family itself, weren't missing. They were dead, and Sada had killed them. When asked about these crimes, Amarjeet confessed to killing those little girls also, and his modus operandum was more or less the same. He would bring these girls out to to a really stranded location where he knew nobody could see them. He first tried to strangle his victims. Remember, two of them were babies, one a newborn and another was a 6-month-old baby. He tried to strangle them, but just before they were about to lose consciousness, he'd release. Then he'd pick up a really big rock from the ground and smother these little girls to death. He repeatedly hit them until their skull cracked open. When in police custody, Sada told about these crimes really nonchalantly, as if he did not know that these were actual crimes, that hitting someone over the head could kill them. He did not really know what he was doing at that time, and many researchers believe that he indeed did not know what he was doing. This kid was not lying. A shocking fact that baffles most people that come across this case is not only Sada's age, but the fact that he didn't really have a motive. The crimes weren't sexual, the crimes weren't motivated by money, power, anything like that. And kids of that age at that time, remember, his family was really poverty stricken, so he mostly wandered outside. They didn't really have any social media influence, they didn't really have any outside influences that could tell them that murdering someone like that exists. It felt almost as if killing was innate in him, that killing someone was natural to him. And many believe that if he hadn't been taken into police custody, he may or may not have committed this crime again. And if the family had kept the things within themselves, as they had done with the two girls, he might have gone on to kill each and every person of the village. But the Sada family couldn't really protect Amarjeet from the crime of Khushbu, because Khushbu wasn't a family member. She didn't really belong to the Sada family. And it was from the beginning an open and shut case. Not that it makes it less complicated, because this is an 8-year-old child that we're talking about. Amarjeet was taken into custody, and due to the laws here in India, no one below the age of 18 can be committed of a crime such as a first degree murder. That is why Amarjeet Saha was taken into a treatment center till the time he was till the time he'd be 18, and by the time he was 18 he'd just be free to wander around. And he was born in 1998, so that would make him 25 years old today. He has taken a new identity, and it's really shocking to believe that a person who killed for just the thrill of killing is wandering around freely with a new identity. He could be right next to you, working in the same office as you, and you'd never notice. But anyway, that is the really shocking yet really fascinating case of Amarjeet. The main takeaway of this story is that There can be psychopaths who might have killing as an innate behavior, who might kill just for the sake of it, and knowing what serial killers do and why they do it almost gives us a comfort. The fact that serial killers have a type, they have an age group, they have a gender to pick on, as disgusting as that sounds, makes some of the public feel safer, right? Like, if for example Ted Bundy only tackles middle-aged women, young women who are blonde and fair skinned, they could protect themselves from him. But people like that who will just kill for the sake of killing, you never know who they'll target next. And the next Amarjeet could be right around the corner. A person like Amarjeet could just be wandering around freely in the streets of India or any other country. He might be your local security guard, he might be your local gardener, your milkman, any of that sort. As long as we keep such horrendous acts like murder within the family because of the fear of ruining someone's reputation, crimes like these will always end up happening. Had he had not killed Khushbu that day, Amarjeet might have never been caught. Had he just been killing his own family members, they might have protected him till he became an adult, or maybe even more than that. It is really important that awareness within the society is spread, no matter which area you belong to, whether you're poverty stricken, you're middle class, you're higher upper class, and justice for all is required. This was my first ever video covering a crime case, and I just want to make sure that this came as respectful as it could. I really hope that the families of both Sada and Khushbu have their peace now. They have dealt with it, they've come across. I hope Sada is now a better man. It's just the beginning of me talking about these cases. If you're interested in true crime, I wouldn't say if you like the narrations of these kind, please let me know in the comments below. Please share these videos, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.